My name is Elizabeth Spice. I live at 1551 Lakeland Avenue. My granddaughter is Aleeah, and her dog is Scrappy. Today we spent 5 hours at University Hospital, which is one of her routine visits in which she goes through pulmonology, endocrinology, and other testing and things that she has to go through because of her cystic fibrosis. My son gained temporary custody of Aleeah in November and gained full custody of her a couple of weeks back. Approximately a year ago, it became apparent to my son and to my family that possibly her mother was not complying with her medical needs. When Aleeah began spending more and more time with us in the home, it was increasingly difficult to get her to sit for the 15 minutes in the morning for her vest and the 25 minutes of breathing treatments, and that's twice a day. So at the time, my son was living in Cleveland, and the puppy, who at that time was 6 weeks old, was just a puppy. A puppy, that's all we knew, a puppy. And the purpose of the puppy was maybe to help her get through some of the issues she was having, not only with breathing treatment, but she was having a lot of separation anxiety, not seeing her mother. So she would hold the dog like a baby and rock him while she did her breathing treatments and while she did her vest. The vest shakes her, and it starts off very slowly and then becomes very violent towards the end, and it runs in 5-minute increments. The dog, over the course of the year, he just turned a year old in November, has become very accustomed to the sound of the breathing machines going on and the vest going off, and he's right there because that's what he's used to. He sits right there with her. She can't hold him anymore, but he'll lay down beside her and she'll drive cars over his back or she'll play Barbie dolls with him. In the summer, on the 4th of July, while walking home from fireworks with her father, individuals unknown threw fireworks into the street, hit the curb, bounced up, and above the hundreds of people walking down the street, it landed right on her chest. She sustained a 3rd-degree burn on her arm and on her chest, in which she will be permanently scarred. And after being released from the burn unit at Metro, she was in my home, and that required daily treatment of this burn, which meant changing it and scrubbing it. I don't know if anybody's experienced or seen anybody having a burn treatment done, taken care of, but it is excruciating. The dog was at my house during that time because she was there, the dog was there. We would sit in the bathroom, and for 15 minutes that child would scream, and I'm surprised the police weren't called because the screams were hideous, and that dog didn't leave her side. She would hold his paw or his head and squeeze it until it was over with, and then fall asleep on the couch with the dog beside her. There was no intentions of bringing some vicious pit bull into our home or into anybody's lives. This was just a dog. When my son was granted custody of Aleeah, it became very apparent that he was going to need a lot more help from myself and my husband versus living on his own. And this is how he ended up coming back into Lakewood and with the dog and my granddaughter. At this point, with everything she's gone through, I can't even fathom the idea of having to sit this child down and say, come and take your dog. I can't do it. So I'm asking council not only to consider this for the sake of my granddaughter, but also take into consideration what BSL really is. This is the opposite end of the leash. These are people who have bred and trained dogs in such a manner, and it doesn't have to be the quote-unquote pit bull. It can be any dog. In her mother's care, Aleeah was bitten in the face twice, once by a boxer and once by a Yorkshire Terrier. So any dog raised inappropriately can have the propensity for violence, but I can assure you, in this situation right now with this little girl and this dog, there's no violence, there's no vicious dog. I wouldn't have a vicious dog and expose it to my granddaughter. The fact that she'll even go near a dog is a miracle in itself. So I do ask that council consider this. I know that there is a hearing coming up, and I am waiting on the results of the DNA, but we do have a hearing scheduled for February 23rd. So I am hoping at that point that council will reconsider this issue, not only the BSL in general, but at least allow us the opportunity for Aleeah to continue to have her dog. Thank you.
Thank you.